Drink a sip of water so I can stay hydrated. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm Austin Lugo.
I'm Andrew Hart.
This is With Nothing to Say.
Let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence.
Before we get started today, next week we are going to be watching Scream, the original, in celebration of the new Scream movie. I've only ever seen one Wes Craven movie before, Nightmare on Elm Street. Loved it very much, especially as someone who does not love horror. It's a lot for me to say that I love a horror movie. So I'm very excited for this experience. And you've seen quite a
Yeah.
few Wes Craven films. How many Wes Craven films have you seen?
Probably like 8.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean I've watched all both like he's a great director and
Yeah.
he made movies all the way up until he died like a few years ago. So he was very active and he made all kinds of different movies. So he's a great director and I think all of his Scream movies are at least pretty good, if not amazing.
Well, I'm pumped. I'm ready. I'm excited. But this week we watched AI, Artificial Intelligence. Steven Spielberg. I have always kind of had a mixed bag of
He's
Spielberg with some
great.
of his work. I don't know. I mean, I know everyone loves him. I know everyone thinks he's the great, and he seems like a very nice human being. And I've kind of turned around on Fablemans. I think the more I think about it, the more I like it. And of course, I love Jaws. Schindler's List is great. Catch Me If You Can, love it. But then there's other Spielberg films where I'm just like, I don't know. Ones like Jurassic Park where they just don't hit, and I don't know why. Like I just don't get it.
It's a near perfect movie, in my opinion. I'm excited to watch. I was excited to watch this one because I'm a big fan of he gets his historical dramas like Catch Me If You Can, Schindler's List, Saving Private
hmm
Ryan. They get a lot of regard. I love his science fiction movies though. I love Jurassic Park. I love War of the Worlds. So sci-fi Steven Spielberg is really, I think, where it's at for the most part. I think
I feel you. I mean, I haven't seen War of the Worlds yet. I still very much want to, but
that's his 9/11 movie.
is it really? It came out.
Definitely
When did it come out? It came out not too
like
long after
2004,
9/11, right?
2005. Yeah,
Okay. Well, everyone had to make one.
this movie came out in 2001, which feels very interesting because you see the Twin Towers in it, and you see the Twin Towers
Yeah.
at least a couple times. It's like, oh shit.
It's a little weird. Interestingly enough, I started reading a book about Stanley Kubrick and Arthur
Right.
Clarke, the creation of 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is interesting because this film had an original storyline by Kubrick. Like it's a Kubrick production, even though he'd passed away before this film
Yeah, he like
was
started working on it
produced and
like
came
really
out.
early on, right? And then it just didn't work out. And then I think he sold it or gave it to Spielberg, and then he died. And then they were like, well, we should do it. And it's based on a short story. Spielberg, another Spielberg movie he made was a Minority Report, which is based off a Philip K. Dick book. And it's based on a short story called Super Toys Last All Summer Long, which is a very like Philip K. Dick. It's not a Philip K.
Yeah.
Dick story. It's like a Brian Aldiss story, but it's a very Philip K. Dick title.
Oh yeah. So artificial intelligence. The idea is all the ice caps have melted, everyone's moved inland, and we got these robots. We got all kinds of robots,
Called Mechas.
mechas, and they have robots for every sort of situation. They have sex robots, and
It's mostly sex robots.
it's mostly sex robots. It's mostly sex robots. But one man has made it his mission to make robots that love.
Yeah, the William Hurt character.
Yeah. Which seems like a fundamentally bad idea to build children because they never age. Like they're just 8 years old forever.
They're toys, they're meant to be bought and then you throw them away when you're done with them.
What a terrifying idea. And the idea is that they imprint. So they are different than regular robots because they have the
They're very
ability
different, yeah.
to dream and love, which of course is the whole plot of this film. And for some wild reason, which seems, again, there's a lot of dumb things that take place not that the story is dumb or the plot is dumb, but like people make dumb decisions because the person they give
People are very evil.
people are evil. The person they give the robot to is someone who has a son who is like near
Yeah.
death, like has been in cryogenics for the last 5 years. That seems like the
Yeah.
worst person to give this to.
Well, like they're desperate for like a kid to like be in their home, you know, at the time it's like it doesn't seem like things are improving for their son. And I think the dad, right, works at
He
the
does.
robot place. So they identify him, and I think it's, it's kind of like probably a part of his job, to kind of like test him out, give it a,
Right.
run and check it out. And yeah, they give this couple this, essentially grieving couple like a prototype, like kind of like the first prototype
First
David
iteration.
robot. Which, by the way, I really like the opening with William Hurt. By the way, where he's like talking about like wanting to.
The exposition,
I
yeah.
love that. I love that opening of the movie. But anyway, yeah, they're like in New Jersey, I think, and yeah, and they're this couple, Monica and Henry.
Yes, Henry.
They get the David robot, the terrifying David robot. The beginning with the David robot is very scary because it doesn't, when it's not imprinted, it's like weird.
It's got this weird, like servant-esque. It's like exactly
Yeah,
what you think like a robot would be, just like very, and
yeah.
all the honor should be given to this young actor. Of course, was in Sixth Sense and has done a lot
Yes,
of work since.
Haley Joel Osment. He's really good in the movie. Very good.
He's great.
Spielberg, like I don't know what he does, but like he just like is just able to just the best performances out of child actors, maybe more than any director ever. Like
Yeah,
it's hard to say, but I mean, I'm thinking of like E.T., when like E.T. is dying and all the kids are like crying and stuff. To me, that's like a very like touching moment. And in here, Haley Joel Osment, very touching performance. It's really good.
yeah. He's just, I don't know. There's just something about him. He's just really good with kids, and I think Spielberg is just a really great acting director. I think he's just really good at working with actors, not just in finding the right person for the role, which at this point for Spielberg, it's kind of like everyone wants to be in a Spielberg movie. So he definitely has his pick of who he wants, even back in like 2001, because he was Spielberg. But even so, even if you have great actors, he still has the ability to get these really powerful performances out of everyone involved. And the kid does an amazing job. But when Henry brings this prototype home, he doesn't have a conversation with his wife, like pre bringing this thing home, which I feel
Well, he's
like,
just kind of like he's just like yeah, she freaks out, which she's pretty good too. I think she's good too. Frances O'Connor.
yeah,
She gets like really upset and freaked out because she's just like
understandably.
nothing can replace her son or whatever. And he's like, we can just take it back. It's basically, a fucking action figure. You can take it back to the store or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like just give it a shot. And I mean, it's a cute little kid, so it's like she kind of like grows attached to it, like but at the beginning, like you said, it's kind of like a servant-esque kind of thing, but she kind of still likes having it around, right? She grows
Yeah,
attached, and so she decides like to do the imprinting
imprinting.
protocol, which will essentially cause the child to love Monica forever.
Yeah. What's interesting about the imprinting is it's only, I mean, I guess it could be on multiple people. I'm not sure, but he only imprints on her. So, like, Henry's just like this guy,
He doesn't give a fuck about Henry. He still
doesn't give a
calls.
shit.
It's very interesting. He calls Henry still by his first name. He doesn't call him dad.
Throughout the whole film, I don't think he ever refers to him as daddy. He just always refers to him as Henry. But then, of course, Monica becomes mommy, and his everlasting love for his mom and the whole family. Well, mostly his mom.
Yeah, pretty much his mom. Yeah, he also gets the teddy. He gets the teddy bear, which is cool. He gets Teddy, his
Best
friend.
character in the movie. Teddy's the best. 10 out of 10
He's cool.
character. I fucking love Teddy.
Yeah, I like the companion that he gets to kind of help him and stuff. He's cool as fuck. He comes in clutch at the end.
He's always there. He's like his Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's always there for him. He
Yeah.
guides him through the world. I love Teddy. Also, some of the CGI has definitely dated because it is 22 years
I
old, but
guess, yeah.
a lot of it looks really good.
I think everything looks pretty good for the most part, except for maybe a couple shots.
Oh yeah, like most of it's very good. But I think Teddy looks incredible. Like
Yeah, it
Teddy,
looks
the
really
design
good.
of Teddy is fucking amazing. It is
I
incredible
think it's
design.
because they're doing like I think it's kind of like the Jurassic Park thing, right? Where they do kind of like a mixture of CGI but also robotics, right?
Right.
That's why they've aged really well. It's not just like a CGI creature. They do like a combination of the two when needed. So
Yeah.
it has aged very, very well, just like I think Jurassic Park has aged really well in that department.
Very nice. Very cool. One thing I don't get about the future, no one has trunks to their cars. Does no one buy groceries in the future or like put things in their car? Like the way the cars are
I
designed.
love the cars. I don't give a fuck. The cars look really cool. I like how all the vehicles look.
I mean, the cars look cool. They look very cool. They just don't seem
I get
very
maybe the
ergonomic.
flooding like destroyed all the Costco's. There's no more Costco's anymore. They've been destroyed by the flooding. So there's no need reason anymore. They've been flooded.
I love that explanation. But David, he's loving his mommy. He's hanging out with Henry. And the kid, the prodigal son, comes back. He's healed. He's better.
Something amazing has happened, David. Yeah, I love when she like delivers that line and Martin is behind her and he's like slumped in the wheelchair. So that's a good shot.
And this kid, honestly, most of the kids in this movie kind of dicks. They're not very nice kids. They can be kind of dickish, especially to David, which I get. He's like a robot, so they don't feel the need to be nice to him or whatever. But it is baffling. I've lost you, Andrew. I have lost you to the perils of the internet. After some serious technical difficulties on my end, we're back.
Well, let's just get back into it. So like, yeah, we were talking about the stupid little kids and how annoying they are.
They're the worst. These kids are
You get that
the
like
fucking
pool
worst.
scene.
Yes.
Yeah, the pool scene
Exactly
is
what I was
very
thinking
hard
about.
to watch. And Martin, right? He's like kind of competitive with David.
He's jealous of him because he feels as if he has to share his love with a robot, which, I mean, I'm very frustrated
Yeah, it is kind of weird.
by the kids, but I guess his frustration makes the most sense out of anybody's because, like, they did kind of replace him with a robot. So, and he is kind of a prick, but also he's a kid. And like in that moment when like the other kids are being pricks, like he's kind of hesitant. I wouldn't say he's as prickish as the other rich kids. Like he's not the one, stabbing a robot, this poor robot in the arm, which is
Yeah, he's like yeah, that kid like he takes a knife and he like tries to like do like a pain thing and what happens is that all these different moments sort of accumulate to the dad, Henry, essentially not wanting David around anymore because he's, I don't know, dangerous or something like that.
he's afraid of an iRobot situation because the little boy Martin keeps like forcing him to do these things that
Yeah.
outside of context do feel quite threatening. I mean, if a robot came up to me with scissors in their hands, it seems very threatening.
Yeah, you get that weird, yeah, thing where it's like, you got to cut off a lock of like mom's hair. It's like, okay. And he just does it. He's like gullible, he wants to be liked. But once again, it just accumulates into kind of like this thing where it's like, oh man, he's scary. David is scary. But he's pretty harmless though, for the most part.
He's harmless. I guess it's more of the idea of David that's scary, right? This just idea of this robot living in your house. I mean, I guess they all have robots in their house to a certain degree, but there's something off-putting because he's the first child robot, which we learn a little bit later on. Is like there's no other children robots. Like all the robots are adults. And the thing about being a robot is he's perpetually that age. So
Yeah.
there's an inherent creepiness of just like
He
forever
never
being
grows
8 years
up.
old.
Yeah.
I wonder, I mean, we don't really see this, but I wonder like if this robot, if David lived for like a dozen years, would he still have the kind of childish and naivete of an 8-year-old, or does his like
I
artificial
think that's the
intelligence
point, right?
grow?
I think that's the point,
Yeah.
right?
Is like he's always naive and gullible?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not really sure. It's hard to
Yeah.
say.
It's hard to say because he's not. I guess he's not like alive doing things long enough to kind of tell like what would happen. But I mean, it's a fundamentally creepy idea altogether. which the whole reason they do this commercialization of children is because they've basically banned having children. Like you have to go through all this legislation to have kids. So the idea is they're utilizing capitalism to sell fake kids of just one age, which
To give the
is a very
illusion
creepy
of,
idea.
having a child.
Right. But only an 8-year-old child. Not like you think they would work different ages in there. Maybe like every year you get like a new model, kind of like an iPhone thing. And you start with a 1-year-old and then you get 2-year-olds.
Maybe they did.
Oh, that's
We
true.
really
Yeah.
only saw the we really only saw the beginning of it happening.
That's a good point. That might have been the future of human robot technology.
So yeah, like David, he freaks everybody out. He's super scary. And so they decide to basically return him, take him back to the store. And Monica's driving him and she's like, "You know what? I can't have David be destroyed." So she goes into the woods and she essentially is like abandons him in the woods, which
Kind of feels
results in a
worse.
very it results in a very sad scene.
Very traumatic scene because she doesn't want to kill him, but abandoning him almost feels like I understand why she does it, right? She wants to do it because she doesn't want to kill this because she feels like this is a real person or this mecha has feelings and killing is kind of an awful
And David
thing.
doesn't really he doesn't eat food. That's a thing that they mention. He
Right.
doesn't need to eat food. He doesn't drink water. He doesn't have to
He doesn't need any power supply. Yeah.
he can endure like weather, so I don't think he, gets wet. Or
Mhm.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's in the pool, he's underwater, like he doesn't get hurt from that. Like things don't really affect him very much.
He's just a very sad kid who's abandoned in the woods. Very hard scene to watch. Very
Yeah, that
intense.
sucks. That sucks. So
This poor
it's just
kid.
him and Teddy pretty much, and Monica leaves.
Him and Teddy against the
It's
world.
very sad. This is where the movie kind of like takes like a different, it kind of shifts perspective a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, this movie is basically a three-part film.
Right,
Part
yeah, yeah.
one, which
It's
is
just
like
like them
him
in the
with the
house, hanging out
family.
in the house
Yeah.
with the family. Yeah. Yeah.
And the dynamics of that. And then part two is kind of him exploring the wider world, which I think part two is my favorite part of this movie because you kind of get to see this cyberpunk techno world that they live in, which of course starts with the introduction of Jude Law.
Yeah, which is a great character. Gigolo Joe. He's awesome in the movie. He's very good.
It's
He
amazing.
plays a sex robot. He plays like a sex robot who's just, going around and stuff. And I love the introduction of him when he's like talking to the woman that he's about to have sex with.
Mhm.
That's a great scene. It's really funny. He can like play music at will. Like he's like a really great kind of funny character.
I love that whole technocentric red light district that they're in. I love his
I know. I
little
love all the cities. The cities look really
tattoo.
great. They look amazing.
The cities are awesome. I love the way they make his hair, like they gel it down and they do this thing where a lot of the robots have like this look to them, like doll like look to
Yeah.
them, like almost like they have too much makeup and kind of
Yeah.
plastic, like their skin looks plasticky. It's
He can change
it's
his hair color, whatever color he wants.
it changes hair color. It's pretty cool. It's almost like in the Valley of Uncanny, like the way these robots look, which is a really cool thing to do because like they look
They look
human,
great.
but they also look just a little bit off, which I think is a really
I fucking love the
interesting
scene
touch.
when he goes into like the big junk pile. David does, and like
Yes.
everybody's like they're
Oh my
taking
God.
parts and like replacing. And it looks really great. It looks amazing. It looks kind of real.
Oh my God. The special effects there are insane. And just the different design of all the robots, because of course there's the robots like David and Jude Law who are very human-esque, but then you get to meet like all these other like cool robot
They're
designs.
really
Some
weird looking stuff.
fucking
Yeah,
amazing robots
it's kind of
from
hard
like
to
they're tearing off
describe.
jaws. Oh my God. It's so cool. And they're ripping off arms, they're like attaching shit. It's amazing. And they got the balloon, the fucking moon balloon thing.
Yeah, that was completely random. There's a lot of random shit where it's just like I don't understand that detail, but it doesn't really matter. Like it's a future, it's kind of wacky science fiction, so I'm okay with like stuff like that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got like
like
a
you get
cyberpunk.
Brendan Gleeson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did
yeah,
not know
Brendan
he was in this
Gleeson.
movie.
It was cool to see him. He takes David. He and his like robot his like biker guys, which are cool. Like
Cool
they
robot
round up
or
all these
robot people, cast of
these
people. Yep.
like these crappy robots, like these robots that are mostly obsolete mechas. And they take them to this flesh fair, which is a crazy set. It's kind of amazing. It kind of made me sad when I saw the flesh fair set because I was just like, man, I don't think I've seen this like in another movie in a little, you know what I mean? Like I haven't seen like such a weird kind of like large set like this in a movie in like I don't know ever.
Hmm.
Like when was the last time you saw a movie in theaters and it was like there was a set like that? I don't know.
Yeah. No, the set design is amazing on this, and everyone is just absolutely wild. And it's very horror. It's like a outside out of like a circus horror kind of.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
part
flesh
is like
fairs, you kind
very
of
like
say.
it feels like almost like Rob Zombie esque in a way. It's kind of weird. Like there's metal
Yeah,
music playing and stuff, and like I don't know. It still kind of has that Spielberg like directing touch that he does,
for
like all his
sure.
like typical stuff. But yeah, but like the point of the flesh fair is that they destroy these mechas because it's like the people who attend it like hate mechas. They want them to want to destroy them, so they torture and kill mechas in very obscene and terrible
Brutal.
ways. It's kind of sucks. Yeah.
It's basically a monster truck rally, but with
Yeah, yeah,
mechas.
it's true. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
And you get all of these cool robot designs. I think my favorite is the guy whose face is like imprinted on a screen, and then it's like attached to like a metal, not a rope, but like
Yeah,
like a pivotable, a wire. And then like he's got like the old school, he was the man, what, he was a Times Man of the Year, right? Like 750 years
yeah.
ago.
He was the mech of the year.
Mecca of the Year, which is
Yeah,
a great quote.
yeah.
So many cool. I think that's where you get to see like
That stuff
all
is
the
cool.
different variations of robots, right? It's kind of cool because you get to see like the history, this made up history of like what robots have been over, like you get to see like their evolution over like 1,000 years, and the different like ways and how they become more humanoid. And Chris Rock does like he's like a 2-second little
Yeah, yeah. There's
moment
a
in
lot of like
there.
voice cameos in this movie. Yeah,
Yeah. And they just
yeah.
brutally rip them apart and light them on fire.
They shoot him out of cannons.
Yeah.
It was just funny.
Very brutal.
And yeah, they're gonna kill David essentially. They kind of have a
Hmm.
moment where like they realize like, wait a minute, this David is like this kid is like a mecha, but
Yeah.
they don't make like kid mechas. Like what the hell? So they're really confused. But what they do is that they do put him in the. They're gonna like dump like oil or acid or something on him,
Acid, yeah.
and he's like pleading for his life, like a little boy pleading for his life, and the audience is so like not with it, and I love it too. They immediately turn on Brendan Gleeson and they just start to like destroy the stage, which is very funny.
I love that scene because Brendan Gleeson's like, look, we got this little kid. He's a mecha. Mechas are bad, blah, blah, blah.
He's gonna replace your kids. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He makes
but
all of the
but
threats.
David is so realistic. He looks so real that it's not like, and they say like mechas don't plead for their lives. Like
Right.
why is he pleading for his life? That's kind of weird. Like it's very strange.
They're very disturbed by it. And he's like, he who has not sinned cast the first stone. And then for some reason, they all have bean bags. I don't know where they got these bean bags. Just like little bean bags.
Because I think
Do
the
they throw them at the
audience throws it at the
robots?
targets. Yeah,
Okay.
they throw him at the target so that the thing falls on them. Yeah, I think that's what they were going to use him for, but instead they just
Oh,
throw him at
okay.
him.
They just throw him at Brendan Gleeson, and they mob the stage. And of
They
course, Jude
destroy it.
Law is taken with David, and they're set free. They get away with Teddy, of course. Teddy's the real winner here. He's the one who saved.
Yeah, he
He's the one who found the
rocks.
little girl. He's the best. I love how monotone Teddy is. Like
Yeah, he's great.
there's no like intonation in it. Like, he never gets excited or sad. He's just very flat. And I think it's the perfect way to deliver these lines. Because I think it could have been very easy to make Teddy kind of like this silly, wacky side character.
No, you just chill.
But he's just chill. He's just like this chill Obi-Wan Kenobi guy, just helping out his buddy David. And he's just there all along the way. Like he's just there to help. And I love him. Just another win for Teddy.
Yeah, and so they're able to escape the flesh fair, all of them,
Hmm.
which includes Gigolo Joe. By the way, I'm on the Wikipedia page right here, and it says here
Hmm.
under casts, under Jude Law's character as Gigolo Joe, it says, I don't know, this might be bullshit. It says to prepare for the role, Law studied the acting of Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly, whose movements Joe emulates, because he does little dances and stuff like that in the
Yeah.
movie, right?
I mean, he does do that thing with his hands, right? Where he holds them. He like
That's true.
holds his like his fingers together. But of course, we know Fred Astaire, as we've talked about before, did that because he had these giant ass hands. I don't think Jude Law
Right.
has giant hands, but
I don't think so. He probably has normal hands, but he's just trying to like emulate the movements. He does like little dances and
just
stuff.
like little jigs
Because
and
now it's
stuff.
it's 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 Joe and David and Teddy, and they're on the run. And David has it in his mind because he had heard about it in Pinocchio when he was with Monica, that the blue fairy in Pinocchio was able to turn Pinocchio into a real boy. And so now David thinks that if he finds the blue fairy and he turns into a real boy, Monica will love him.
That's right. And at this point, we learned that the company has found David, or like knows that David was
Yeah,
just
they're
at this
looking for
Flesher
him. Yeah.
thing. They're on the hunt for them, which is very important because it'll come in later to play in the film. But Jude Law's like Gigolo Joe. He's like, we gotta go to the only place where all of the women are, which is like a sex city. It's like a
It's a called what is it called? It's called Rouge City. Yeah.
Rue City. It's like right out
It's
here
like
in
a
Nevada, like just
sex
down the
it's
street.
like Las Vegas. Yeah, it's like a Las Vegas like city where I think just there's a bunch of sex robots, I think. I love the Rouge City. It looks so cool. It looks crazy. I love the design of everything. I love like when they
Very
go
cool
into it's
design.
like a tunnel that's like a mouth
It's
that's
a
open.
woman's mouth.
It's just completely like they're like big statues of yeah, like naked women and stuff like that.
hmm
It's like very specific and it's very like neon and bright. The movie's very bright, has very bright like lights. I think it's like the
Yes.
movie was shot by Kaminsky. So I think
Okay.
it's kind of his style.
Yeah.
He does the cinematography for all these like Spielberg movies basically from the late 90s up till now.
Okay.
But they're like chilling at Rouge City and they decide to go visit like a search engine essentially. Dr. No.
Dr. No, the internet. He's the internet.
The internet essentially. Yeah, he's the internet, yeah. A search engine, Google, whatever you want to call it.
Bing.
Yeah. DuckDuckGo.
They go see Dr. No.
Wikipedia, yeah. They just because they're trying to find out where the blue fairy is. This is a nice little scene. I kind of like it.
It's fun. Robin Williams makes a little cameo appearance here as Dr. No.
Not a fan of Robin Williams, but I'm okay
Wow.
with his performance here. It's fine. Name me one good Robin Williams performance.
Good Will Hunting.
Name me another.
Fisher King? He's okay in Fisher King.
I haven't seen Fisher King.
He's all right. But I see your point.
Rest in peace, rest in peace. But I don't know. I
Of
find him
course.
cloying. But this is an okay performance. I like it. And they're able to they have to like ask a bunch of questions and they're able to find out that they have to go to Manhattan, right? To go find
Manhattan.
Manhattan, yeah, at the end of the world.
The end of the world. Because they have to find the blue fairy who can turn fake boys into real boys. It basically becomes a story of Pinocchio in a lot of ways. There's very Pinocchio-esque
Sort of, yeah.
vibes going on here. He's a
Definitely.
fake boy, he
Yeah.
wants to be a real boy, he goes on a journey, that whole thing. They do that whole thing. But they have to go to Manhattan. But lo and behold, they walk out of Dr. No's office and Jude Law,
There's a little scene.
he's been arrested. They've captured him. They have a giant SWAT team. And but I guess no one like guarded the helicopter. Like no one's in the helicopter. So David just
He gets into it.
walks on in. He just gets into it. And him and Jude Law fly away. I love it.
Yeah, they get the hell out of there. They're escaped. I like it. They just like take it and they're just gone.
Just like no worries. I got this.
I like the ruins of Manhattan. I think it looks really cool.
Very cool. I love the ruins of Manhattan. Obviously it's a little surreal to see because it's the 2000
The Twin
version of
Towers.
Manhattan. The Twin Towers are there.
The Twin Towers are still there. It's very yeah. Yeah, they fly around and I think they go to the Rockefeller Center.
Yep. They go to the Rockefeller Center because that is where I guess the Blue Fairy supposedly is. He's in the rock. And there's even like a little helicopter space. So like clearly like there's something here. Like someone's been building some shit here. And then you have that very weird scene where David walks into a room and he meets basically just another
Himself.
David. It's a very creepy moment.
He meets himself.
I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. It took me a minute. Like I was like, is he like projecting or like, is there some like magic surrealism? I didn't know what was going on.
No, it was really another David.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he fucking kills him. He's
Fucking
so
kills the
mad.
shit
He
out of him.
kills him. He's so mad. He destroys the hell out of him. He's so strong. Well, he is strong. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he's a fucking robot. There's a great line early in this film that I kind of wish they would have explored more, which is, and it's when Henry's talking to Monica, and he's like, if they've given him the ability to love, then they've given him the
Yeah.
ability to hate, which is
Right.
kind of a
Yeah.
very terrifying idea and an interesting way. I mean, not that this film needed to go in that direction, but that would have been also an interesting thing to kind of explore because yes, he's the first robot to love, right? He's the first robot to imprint himself on others, but that also means, and you see this throughout the film, right? You see him getting jealous, which is very weird because none of these other robots do that. And that's, I mean, and that moment, right, when he's fighting the other David, that's a very scary moment. Like he's
Yeah. He
willing to
kills the fuck out
murder.
of him. Yeah. Like pretty much like immediately after meeting this other copy of him, because he feels him. Yeah. He's just like, what the hell? Like, no, I'm the only David. And as he soon learns, that's not exactly true. He meets Professor Hobby, right, who is the guy
Hmm.
William Hurt's character. And it turns out all this thing with like the blue fairy and the Doctor No thing, it's all kind of concocted by him
Yeah.
because the reason why he did that was because it signifies to him that David does have like dreams and aspirations,
Right.
which shows him that it worked, like essentially, like the robot. It's what he wanted to do when he created David was to create, like we discussed, a robot that can love and dream, and David dreams of being a real boy. And he meets William Hurt and stuff like that, and and he essentially says like, what does he say? Like William Hurt's character, he says like, what David's like, I'm one of a kind, and like, and then
Oh yeah.
William Hurt's like, you're the first of a kind, and
First
it's
of a
like very
kind.
like,
Great line.
yeah, like great, very great line. And it's extremely sad, and you have that scene where right after that where he's like walking through the office from the
And their
beginning of the movie
horror
too.
scene. Yeah. And there's all of those
Yeah.
Davids hanging on the wall and, like
Yeah.
severed heads
They're
and
like on
stuff. It's
hooks.
terrifying. It's a very terrifying scene. You gotta have this Toy Story moment, right, where you see all of the toy Davids, like they're in their packaging, and then on the other side, there's
Yeah.
basically the female version. I don't remember what they called her. I feel like it was something with an A.
Darlene.
Oh, Darlene. That's right.
You
David
never
and
see it.
Darlene,
You never see
the
the
female
Darlene
version.
robot, but she
But
exists. Yeah.
I'm sure it's just as creepy. And of
And
course, I
David,
mean,
he's so upset.
as you would be.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah. Yeah, he realizes that he's like a product, right? A commodity, less of a
Hmm.
person, even though he badly wants to be a person.
He wants to be an Orga.
In Orga, they call people Orgas, yeah, mechas Orgas, yeah. And he's so upset about this that he decides to commit suicide, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Kind
Pretty wild. Pretty wild thing
of
for an
ballsy.
eight-year-old to do.
Yeah,
Fucking falls off the Rockefeller Center and just sinks right into the ocean. I mean, just
yeah.
straight down.
But he's like saved by a school of fish for some reason, which is a little unexplainable. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Maybe they're robot fish.
Yeah, maybe the robot fish. Who knows? The fish thing's a little weird. They like swim around him and they bring him to Jude Law because Jude Law
Yeah,
finds him and Jude Law pulls him out of the water. He's like, I saved you. We can, yeah, do whatever we need to do.
and then you get another. This part of the movie, by the way, just like basically by the time that they enter Rockefeller Center, the rest of the movie is very, very crazy. It's just like very sad.
Yes.
So Jude Law is like taken by the authorities, and like what he's like being magnetized, and
Hmm.
I was, and he's taken away. That's another
Great
great,
line.
unbelievably great, just cinematic conclusion to that character.
Yeah.
I was crazy.
But David, using his helicopter slash submarine, another very
Yeah,
cool design,
it's cool.
has been convinced that he has seen the blue fairy. Like he still believes, despite everything, still believes in the blue fairy. I mean, just to the nth degree. He's like, this thing exists.
Yeah, he still hasn't given up.
And him and Teddy go to the bottom of the ocean to this like Pinocchio land, basically. and all underwater, of course. And you see
It's a Coney Island.
Geppetto and oh,
Yeah.
is it Coney Island? Is that what it is? Okay,
Yeah, they're in Coney Island. Yeah.
very cool. And he floats around, and of course you see the blue fairy. And for 2,000 years, this boy begs to be a real boy. I mean, talk
Yeah,
about
yeah.
dedication.
Yeah. Yeah, what happens is that like a Ferris wheel falls on him and he's trapped in front of the blue fairy statue. And so he like begs and begs and begs, he's a robot, he doesn't die. And yeah, like you said, very unexpectedly the movie's like 2000 years have passed and you're like, "Wait, what?
Wait.
No way." This movie is crazy, dude. And you have this whole other section of the movie that is completely like just off the rails incredible. Like it's like the ocean is frozen and everyone is dead and there are
All of
these
humanity's
crazy
gone.
looking aliens
Very cool aliens.
and they have these cool ass spaceships.
So, as I talked about earlier, I'm reading Stanley Kubrick and Arthur Clarke's creation of 2001: A Space Odyssey. And this movie took years and years to make. Like, they spent years dedicating to figuring this out. And it started as a very different film. And of course, there's a novel too that goes with it, which I've read, which if you've seen the movie and you don't really understand what's going on, reading the book definitely adds some flavor to it
I think they're both good.
because originally the film was supposed to have like a bunch of narration over it, which thank God they got rid of all of that narration
Yeah,
and all of
there's
that
some
shit.
narration in AI, but it's okay. It happens right
Yeah,
away.
I don't love it, but it's fine. It's
I don't
whatever.
like
I
it either.
understand why they do it. But the thing I was going to say is that the original design for the aliens was actually the aliens that they use in AI. Like that was Stanley Kubrick's, like that's what he wanted to do for 2001.
The ending of AI is very similar to the ending of 2001. They
Mhm.
feel very similar.
Yeah.
Where it just suddenly like you're like shit is like, intergalactic.
Did not expect that. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they're so far in the future, but still, a wild turn. Aliens with their fucking
Yeah, they're
cool
crazy
designs.
looking.
They're skinny and they're
They're
telepathic, I
metallic.
think.
Yeah.
They're metallic.
They're super smart and they're cool as fuck. All they want to know is like they want to learn more about like the people that lived on Earth.
It's pretty cool.
And they get them out. They find and revive David and Teddy. And like David is like, "Oh my god, the blue fairy statue." And he touches it and it just turns
Crumbles.
into a million pieces, which is a great it looks great.
What an intense moment.
And like yeah, they touch his head and like it's clear they like his memories are still in there so that like they all get his memories. He is essentially, as they say in the movie, the last source of information of what like humans were like.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And you know what? Teddy's there all along. Teddy's still there by his
He's there too.
side.
Yeah, he's still chilling. Yeah. Yep.
And these very kind creatures, these extraterrestrials, want David to live his best life. Like they want David to be happy because they feel like he's helped them out. So they want to help David out. So they recreate the home of Monica and Henry, but it's just David and Teddy. Like there's no one else there. And the lighting's kind of surreal and expressionistic and it feels very dark and empty.
I got out a detail that I didn't realize that kind of
What?
changes the movie a little bit now that I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. It is not
Go
really
for it.
explained. Apparently, they're not aliens. They're mecha that have evolved into an advanced form, and a group of them called the Specialists have become interested in learning about humanity. So
Really?
maybe they are aliens, but they're I guess like super advanced mecha, and it kind of makes sense because earlier in the movie, Jude Law kind of does like that great speech where he's like, the reason why humans hate us so much is because we'll still be here long after they're gone.
Right. And that's like one of the very first lines of the movie, like when they do the opening narration, like before they do the
Right.
exposition thing, is like there's a time when all of humanity dies and the mechas are the only thing that's left. So I guess that makes sense. How they're like plus I know like Stanley Kubrick, he had this like big idea of being like inorganic material being what aliens are. So
Yeah.
are they from another planet or are they're from another planet though, right? Like they're inorganic material, they're mecha, but are they
It's kind of hard to say, I guess. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm not sure. Cool spaceships though. Those like
Yeah, they got the little cool. Yeah, those are really great. Yeah, like you were talking about, they put David in basically into a reconstruction of his home from his memories. He's chilling.
and they tell David because of course David wants to see his mom. He wants to see Monica. He loves her to the end of earth
Yeah.
and end of time. He's like, I want to see her again. And they're like, oh, man, the only way you can see someone again is if you have their DNA.
Hmm.
And then of course,
Teddy has the
Teddy with the
motherfucking.
fucking win, which I didn't realize this, but I remember early on, and this is an incredible little detail that it's what makes Spielberg so great. What makes Spielberg is early on in the film, Martin and David are talking, and in the background, for no explainable reason, Teddy is sewing himself. And they don't tell you why or like
That's true. I
anything at
forgot
all.
about that.
It's so like
Yeah.
it's such a little detail and you don't think about it. But then of course Teddy
Yeah.
comes in with the fucking win and he, fucking does his little pouch and there is Monica's hair. Amazing. Amazing. It's great.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's such an epic moment. You're just like, oh my god, I can't believe it. This is awesome. Because you're totally rooting for David. Like I said, this performance is really good. You feel really bad for him. And, he
Hmm.
deserves to have a moment with his mom, which, isn't perfect, right? Because as he's told later, they can bring her back, but only for a day. For some reason, when they bring people back, it's just not, it's imperfect. Like, they just, when they go back to sleep, they die. And that's just how it is. So they warn him, like, it's only going to be for a day and then she's gone, like, forever. And David's like, that's fine,
Let's fucking do it.
he'd rather see her than never see her again. Let's do it. He's very adamant about it. He's just like, it's very and then they have that touching moment, right, where Monica comes back. And I mean, this part of the movie, it's just when the aliens, like, or the mechas or whatever, when they come through, the last like 20 to 30 minutes of the movie are just like excruciatingly moving. I don't know what it is. It's just the way that people act and the way everything is shot and the music as well. It's just like everything is just completely like just very emotional. I found myself very moved like throughout these last like 20, 30 minutes of the movie.
Very powerful stuff. And he's just living his best day. He's
Mm-hmm.
painting and they're playing hide and seek and they're just living their best life. And he's
It's
so
just like the
happy.
perfect day.
Just the perfect day. And Monica, of course, is confused, which, if you're brought back after
She's
2,000
totally, yeah.
years, could be confusing. And they don't explain anything, which the aliens tell them not to explain anything because that's terrifying. But they have this perfect day. And at the end of the day, she decides to go to sleep. And we have this really
Yeah.
touching moment where David lays next to her because we learn that David doesn't need to sleep. And there's this great scene early on in the movie where they're like, okay, it's time for bed. He's like, do you like power off? Do you sleep? He's like, no, but I can lay here very quietly. And that's like how he
Yeah.
exists. Like, there's no sleeping for him. He just kind of doesn't move for 8 hours.
Yeah.
But in this final moment, as Monica falls asleep, he closes his eyes and dreams, proving the evolution of mecha to humanity, I guess.
Yeah, the narrator says like David falls asleep as well, and he goes to the place where dreams are born. So yeah, he has dreams. He falls asleep like a person would. So, and of course, like right before that too, she finally tells David too that she loves him, which is like
Hmm.
really what he wanted all along. It's not really to be like a real boy, a real person. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the wanting the love, the reciprocated love of someone he loves so much.
Which, of course, is the initial Pondery and that very first opening dialogue between all of these
Yeah.
scientists because they say, we want to create a robot that loves. And he's like, well, maybe we can create a mecha that loves, but can humans love mechas? And at that moment,
Yeah.
Monica loves him.
It's true.
They did it.
Yeah, they did it. Yeah, it took like 2,000 years, but yeah, they did it. Yeah. And yeah, it's just, I'm assuming, yeah, like David, like he essentially dies. I'm assuming, that
Yeah.
he is essentially, because his life is complete, essentially. His goal, his dream has been complete. there's no one left around, so it's kind of over with. And once again, it's just like this movie's fucking awesome. There's like it's packed with like so much stuff. Like it's such a
Mm-hmm.
packed movie, like so many things going on. It's like kind of insane that they were able to make it. Yeah, and it's just kind of like I love like that idea of like David like containing 2000 years into the future, like David being able to contain and hold on to like the last like I don't know, refuge of humanity in him that he was
Yeah.
able to give to this advanced, these advanced mechas so that they can learn more about humanity and what it was all about. And it's ironic because it's also another mecha that humans created for, that was created to be, commodified. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's once again kind of like that movie thing of, of love being able to transcend
Mm-hmm.
time and space and even people.
Very powerful. Just a very powerful ending to a very powerful film. It's incredible. Do you want to give your final thoughts?
I pretty much gave him, but I mean, yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
it's like a very packed movie with a lot of stuff going on, a lot of great set design. I think the cast is really good. I think it's a good looking movie. There's some weird details, but it's not really anything like too like I don't know, distracting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think like each act kind of has their own things going on that are really interesting and really great.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's just like I don't know. I think this is like one of the best Spielberg movies, honestly. It's so good. It's
Wow.
so like crazy. And I don't know, like I said, it doesn't it feels so and I think too, like you have like it's one of those movies that it's not just like Spielberg's vision, but it's also Stanley Kubrick and the guy who wrote the original
Yeah.
story. Like there's a lot of like layers and stuff and influences going on,
Mm-hmm.
which I find very interesting. And I think it really elevates the movie to this area that makes the it's kind of weird, but it's also like it's very effective emotionally. So, I mean, I got to give it the 9 out of 10.
Wow. Rare Andrew moment. You don't go giving those away easily.
I don't give movies 9 out of 10s. Yeah. So, yeah.
Wow. Big words. Big words. I am very conflicted about this movie. Talking about again, I talk about all the things that we love and all the amazing things and all these like little details that are just so incredible and such amazing world building. And as we said, you could really break this movie down into three separate parts. And I think that's the best way for me to kind of explain my feelings towards them. I found part one, the part from basically the opening until David is abandoned. I found this part to be a little dull to me, a little slow. I get what they're doing, they're getting relationships together and all that stuff. But as we talked about, the kids are kind of pricks, and I find that a little grating, a little annoying. I find Martin as a whole to just be kind of irritating. I mean, I understand why he feels the way he does, and it all makes sense. But first part to me just runs a little long. I find myself just kind of a little bored by it. I mean, it basically all takes place on one set, which is a very cool set design. All takes place in this house, but it's a little slow to me. It's a little boring. But then part two hits, and part two goes fucking hard. I mean, you got Jude Law, you got Brendan Gleeson, you got fucking all these incredible robot designs, incredible futuristic world. You could see all these cool cities and all these cool landscapes, and the special effects are just fucking off the charts. Such cool designs, very horrific at times. Love Teddy. Teddy's just doing the best that anybody could ever do. Really incredible, incredible performances all around. Fucking love part two. I think part two is pretty much a perfect film. Like part two, like on its own, perfect. I fucking love it. Like you could basically make three movies out of this, and part two is a perfect film. If part one is just okay, I think part two is basically close to perfect film. And then you have fucking Wild Part Three, mecha alien shit, which comes completely out of left field. Did not expect it at all. Very cool alien design, very cool ideas going on. Him and Monica have their thing, which is very touching. It's very nice. Part three's good. I don't think it goes as hard as part two. I was touched by part three, but maybe not to the extent that some people were. I know some people are very touched by the film. So I don't know. I'm struggling because there's parts of this film where I'm like, part two, like that's a 9 out of 10. Like I feel very good about that. But then, the beginning for me, it runs so long and it feels a little slow to me. So I'm still gonna go with an 8 though. When I came into this conversation, I was feeling like a 6, but having talked about it and all of the amazing things that is Spielberg, I gotta give it an 8.
Hell yeah. It's a great
Yeah.
movie.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening. You can find everything I do at Austin Lugo 12.
I'm on Letterbox at Retro Ranger, RETR0 Andrew.
And you can find this podcast wherever you hear podcasts. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Theater 42 or With Nothing to Say. And thank you all for listening.
Thanks.